Look into my eyes and feel my power real quick. Okay, check it out. If you're watching this on Instagram, I know you have a short attention span. Stick with it. You may learn something valuable that'll help you for the rest of your life. I want to talk about emotion, right? And how to not let your emotions hijack you. Not how to not be controlled by your emotions. How do we do this? Well, first, we got to understand how this sort of works. Okay, now there's a lot of ways to explain this. I'm just giving you one way. So here we are. Here we are. This is you. This is a person. There's their neck, right? And say a car, and hire me if you need some artwork done, you feel me? Say a car cuts you off on the road, right? Say a car cuts you off on the road. This is enough to piss a lot of people off. This used to be one of my pet peeves. Oh, I would get so pissed. I would get so pissed. You don't even know, bro. Let me tell you. So check it out. Say this car cuts you off on the road. So you get this stimulus here, right? And what happens? This stimulus completely bypasses your brain. You don't even think about it. You don't even think about it. It bypasses your brain and gets to this. Now, I'm going to draw a really rudimentary gear here. You can see that art was my major in college. This is a gear here. Why do I make a gear? Because this is your subconscious mind. This is one way to express it. Your subconscious. I could put this gear in a heart and that would make a little bit more sense. We're getting really fancy here. It's a gear because it's a program, okay? It's a program. It's a machine that's always churning non-judgmentally, indiscriminately. It doesn't distinguish good and bad. It just goes off of what it's shown objectively and responds according to its past programming, okay? So what does that mean? That means that here comes, boom, the car cut you off, hijacked or skipped your brain, went down to your subconscious, went down to your former beliefs, your conditioned beliefs, your outlook. It bounced around in this gear. This gear churned it out, churned it through all the past experiences you've had, churns out through all the insecurities that you may feel because this car cut you off. It churns through all your value of yourself, and guess what happened? It churned out a product. The machine worked. It did its job, and it churned out this little ball here, like a lotto ball. And this ball came right back up here, and this ball is fueled with all the emotion that you were feeling as a result of this incident's relation to your programming. Okay, that's what it's all about. It's all about relation and relationship. We're going to get into that in a second. This ball goes right back up to your head. Here's your brain. You see, art again is my major. There's your brain, and you say, "Oh my God!" And you say, "Fuck you, mother yakar." That's what you say, right? That's what you say because you're pissed. And all this, I went through all that explaining to explain something to you that happens in half a second. This thing happens in half of a second, right? Happens in half of a second. You don't know that this is happening, but it is each and every time. Each and every time something comes to you and it makes you feel a certain way, it's teaching you something about yourself. Each time something polarizes you, it's powerful enough to take you off center. Pay attention because it's teaching you something about yourself if you have the wisdom to ask why. Now, like I said, all this happened within half a second, right? The stimulus, the feeling, and the reaction, not the response, the reaction, okay? How do we interrupt this sort of, this process that happens at light speed? How do we interrupt that? How do we interrupt it so that we don't do something that we'll regret doing, right? How do we interrupt it so that we don't say something that we may regret saying? How do we interrupt that? Well, if you remember, I told you that when this stimulus comes in, this mother yakar here, that cuts you off on the road, it not hijacked, but it bypassed the brain. It actually went like this, whoop, went on a U-turn and went straight to your subconscious. Why? Because you were not consciously thinking. You are not consciously thinking. You didn't take the time to process what just happened, right? I'm going to divert for a little bit. I'm going to digress for a little bit and talk about something else in order to understand how to stop this thing right here, okay? You need to understand that your mind has two parts and it functions in two different ways and they work together. And some may call it the conscious and subconscious mind. Some the the within, the without. Lots of different ways to express this type of mind, but mind is much bigger than your brain, okay? Mind is a much larger thing. And so what you must realize is you have your conscious mind, right? This is the logical, the thinking, the discerning. And I like to describe your conscious mind as a watchman at the gate, okay? Like a sentinel, right? So here's the gate. Ooh, my gate's looking good. Y'all know I went to college. Oh, that's a good gate. That wasn't so good. Anyway, here's the gate, and here's the watchman. We're going to give him a little helmet because he's on the job. Give him little horns here because he's badass. Okay, he's standing here, and he has a big sword. Okay, he's standing here, and his job is to either let things in or keep things out. Of what? He is the boundary between you and the world outside. Everything that you can see with your eyes. He's the boundary between you and that. And he's also the boundary between you and everything that goes on inside. We're going to get to that in a second. For a lot of people, for a lot of y'all, this guy's asleep. This guy's sleeping on the job. All sorts of things are allowed to get by this watchman. Y'all's watchman is just like this. He's chilling. You have a thought that says, I'm not good enough. Your watchman's like, all right, yeah, come through. Come on in, that's cool. Oh, I'm never going to amount to anything. Oh, yeah, come on. I'm never going to be able to lose 30 pounds. Oh, sounds good. Get in. And just lets all these thoughts and all this messaging in from outside too. Be scared, be this, be that. Yeah. Come on in. No, right? What is he guarding? He's guarding your subconscious mind, the most vulnerable part about you. The most influenceable, if that's a word, influenceable. The most easily influenced part of your mind. It's his job or her. Float your boat here. I'll put some freaking hair on there for you. It's their job to guard the subconscious, right? Okay, so here's the heart. Here's the subconscious, right? So what happens? When this stimulus comes, this motherfucker needs to be awake and said, hold up. I don't know. Maybe that dude had a bad day. Maybe his wife's saying, come home and put it on me. Maybe he's late. Maybe he left the door open. Maybe he's thinking Arby's. I don't know what's going on. But the point is, it's not about you. And if you take the minute to stop and think and wake this guy up right here, you can get that, right? And after enough training of your watchman at the gate, the person who lets things get into your subconscious or keeps things out, after enough training of this person right here, you'll be able to reprogram your subconscious operating system. Think of it as an operating system, right? It operates according to preset rules. And so long as the programming stays the same, it will always do what it was programmed to do. You have a cybernetic system in your mind, right? That does exactly that. Replicates itself, duplicates itself, gives you more of the same, unless it is reprogrammed. So after you're able to train this watchman at the gate to discern, to reject stimulus, your subconscious will also fall into suit, meaning that your watchman has done his job already, right? So that when things happen, they no longer faze you anymore. I'm happy to say that that's the point that I'm at right now, to where you cannot take me off center. You cannot move me. I am impenetrable right now. And I don't say that to brag. I say that to express, or I say that as a testament to the power of meditation, of mental fitness, of fortifying your mind. There's nothing special about me. Anybody can do this, okay? Anybody can do this. Because if I know how you'll respond to a certain emotion, if I know how you'll respond when you're feeling a certain way, and if I can get you to feel that way, if I can impress upon you a feeling to make you feel that certain way and get you to respond a certain way, guess what? I can control you. If you can't control your emotions, you better believe somebody else can. So what did you take away from this? Understand how the mind works. Respond, don't react. When stimulus comes in, stop and think for a second. Say, hey, what do I think about this? And even in that moment, pausing and stopping for that moment is enough to stop the cycle. Train yourself. Train yourself. Train the watchman at the gate. Reprogram your subconscious. Live a happy life. Live peaceful. Share this message. Share this message. If you think that anybody can get value from the way I've interpreted the way your emotions work and your conscious mind in relation to them, then please share this message. I love doing this. I love talking to you guys about all this stuff. So please, anyway, share this. Enjoy. Look in my eyes. Feel the power. I'm out.